So I've been MIA for a little bit. I think I read so much in March that I got into a huge slump because I didn't really read that much in April or May. So I just decided to do this video and have like a recent reads kind of video. I also thought I would show you what I'm currently reading, and then a little quick book haul of arcs and books I've received from publishers. These books I'll be talking about you'll find on my Instagram or on my Goodreads. Definitely follow my Instagram and my Goodreads if you want to keep up with what I'm reading, because I post on both of those platforms way more often than I post on BookTube. So I'm just going to dive right in with my recent reads. So the first book that I had read was They're There. I feel like everyone's already read this, so I was late to the game and I feel like everyone already knows what this is about, but I felt like there were so many characters and I couldn't really keep up with everyone. There was too many perspectives and I wish there had only been like 5 or 6 characters. Something manageable and something where we could get to know the characters more. We didn't really get to know them that well. But I did enjoy the writing and I was enjoying it. I just wish it had been longer too because I wanted more. So the next book I read was Fruits Baskets, and this has been on my shelf for a long time. I finally read it. It took me so long to get through it and I was really struggling with this and I felt like not much happened. Maybe I have to keep going with the series. Definitely let me know if I should keep going and if it gets better, because I don't think I'll be continuing with the series at this point unless you all tell me otherwise. The next one is one that I wasn't sure if I was going to read or not. There was either a lot of hype around it and people either loved it or hate it. It's Mexican Gothic. I actually really enjoyed this one. I was in the crowd that liked it, and I think so many people didn't like this, and it's like you can't really talk about it without giving it away, and that's the reason people don't really know why people love it or hate it, I feel like. But towards the end it kind of switches genre. I won't say what, but just kind of switches to another genre, and maybe that's why people didn't like it. But I actually liked that and I thought it was interesting and I couldn't put it down. And I don't know, some people said it was slow, but I couldn't put it down. I really liked it and I ended up giving this 4 out of 5 stars. Our favorite YouTuber is here making an appearance. He just always likes being in videos. Okay, sit right there. And he's like balancing on my leg, so this is kind of hard. The next book I read is The Night Swim, and I actually really enjoyed this one too. I read The Escape Room, I think it was like a year or 2 ago, and I thought it was so much fun. I really liked the podcast aspect of it. It's kind of set up like a true crime podcast, but there's also something going on aside from the podcast. If you like true crime, or if you like books that include a podcast, definitely check this one out. The next book I read for my In Real Life book club, and I actually finished this one before our Zoom meeting. Surprise, surprise, because I feel like I always have a few pages left before we meet on Zoom. I was kind of hesitant going into this because I know that some people didn't like it and some people liked it. I was in the it's my least favorite Kristen Hanna crowd so far. Definitely Great Alone, still my number 1, then The Nightingale, and then this one. I haven't read any of her other ones, so maybe this one will get bumped down or bumped up, I don't know. It wasn't as gripping because The Great Alone, I love like survivalist kind of stories, and The Nightingale, like even though I don't really read that much historical fiction, I still really like that one way more than this one. But if you're a fan of Kristen Hanna, I feel like you should still read this one. And I think I ended up giving this 4 stars, but very low 4 stars, barely a 4-star for me. And then I read Jackpot, and I've read a lot of Nick Stone's other books. And like I said with 4 Winds, it's my least favorite book by her so far that I've read. I think I've read about 4 of her other books, including some middle grade and YA, and this is my least favorite. I definitely recommend this more towards the YA crowd. I do love some middle grade and YA, but I think this one just read a little bit too young for me. But if you have kids, I definitely recommend this to your kids. Then I read My Time Will Come, a memoir of crime, punishment, hope, and redemption, and this is by Anne Manuel. I had requested this because I saw that the foreword was by Brian Stevenson, and then Anne Manuel was actually talked about in Just Mercy, so this is his memoir. But this is a short book, so I'm not going to say too much because it's really short. You'll read this in a day. It's less than 200 pages. all I'm going to say is if you love Just Mercy or if you love The Sun Does Shine by Anthony Hinton, then you will love this because this is a memoir similar to The Sun Does Shine. So definitely check this one out. The next one I read was The Next Everest, and this is another arc I received. Also, none of these arcs were just like sent to me randomly. I requested them, so these are ones I was actually really interested in reading and not just random books that I received, so I feel like I knew they were going to be good. So this one, I loved this book. I love anything that has to do with Mount Everest or climbing or adventure in the nonfiction genre, so this definitely recommend, especially if you loved Into Thin Air. You're going to love this. This is about Jim Davidson. In 2015 he was climbing Mount Everest when an earthquake hit, and it goes from there, and it also follows him in the aftermath, so if he decided to climb again or not, how he went about his training, what his family thought. If there's any book you're going to read from this pile so far, this is one of the top contenders. The next book I read was also another review copy that I, again, wanted to read, and it was At Any Cost, and this was also really good. If you love true crime, you'll love this one. This one involves a mom who has an abusive husband, and she wanted to get a divorce from him, and she didn't want him on her will because she came from a lot of money and she had a lot of money herself, but then she is found dead in her apartment and the police rule it an accident. So this one is, like I said, a true story, nonfiction, true crime, and I really enjoyed this one. You will definitely enjoy this one. Then I read Uzumaki, another Junji Ito. When it comes to like my favorite and least favorite, I think this is towards the top. I think I've read about 5 by him now. The art in this one is truly some of the best art, and I think some of his best work. Really enjoyed this one. It got a little slow towards the end, so if you're a fan of horror and you haven't picked up manga or graphic novels, or if you have and you haven't read Junji Ito, I definitely recommend picking up some of his work. Maybe start with this one because I think it's one of his better ones. Then I read Dial A for Aunties. This was a review book that I requested as well. Even though I'm not that into romance or chick lit or contemporary, I feel like I just read the synopsis for this one. I just felt like it was going to be such a fun time. It's about a girl that goes on a date and ends up accidentally killing her date, and then she calls her mom and aunties for help. So I won't say anything else, and I don't think you should really read the full synopsis because it kind of gives some things away that it was just more fun to find out by reading it instead of reading it in the synopsis. So that's all I'll say. Really enjoyed it. It was so much fun. If you like romance or contemporary or chick lit, you'll definitely love this one, and like I said, it is the perfect summer read. So that's it for all the books I've recently read. Now let's quickly jump into what I'm currently reading. I am currently a 4th into Columbine. I am really loving this. I think that this right here describes it perfectly. It says, the pacing of an action movie and the complexity of a Shakespearean drama. And that is so true. This is non-fiction, and this is the full account of Columbine written by Dave Cullen, and it's just so good so far. If you have access to the audiobook, I definitely recommend checking out the audiobook or checking out both the audiobook and the book so you can do both. The audiobook instantly hooked me in, and I immediately came back from my morning walk and pulled this off my shelf, and now I'm reading and listening. So I'm listening when I'm going on my walks and reading when I'm back home. I feel like I'm already going to give this 5 stars. I'm predicting that I am. Just so chilling, I feel like, to listen to and read, because although it has that fast pace, like you're reading like some kind of thriller, like just knowing it's real life, I feel like that gets to you. And then the other book I'm reading with my friend Ashley. I will link her channel down below, but we are reading Hairpin Bridge, and I'm reading it on my Kindle as an ARC. I had read No Exit. Even though it wasn't a 5-star read for me, that was one of the most thrilling thrillers I had ever read. So I was really excited to read this one. I am 50% in. I don't want to say much, but It is living up to the hype so far. It's really fun, really fast paced, and I am really liking it so far. So now I'm going to do a quick little book haul. These are ARCs I've received from publishers. I already showed you some of them in the books I've read, but I received some other ones. This one is Federico. This one has 0 reviews on Goodreads, so I really want to take the time to read this one and read this one slower and take notes so I can write a really good review on this one. I feel like it's going to be really good. It's by an indigenous author and he makes jewelry, and it says his remarkable journey from Tutepec to LA. And he is indigenous from Mexico, and he is a famous jewelry artist and philanthropist in LA, and this is his memoir. So I'm really excited for this one. This next one is from Tin House, and it's The Kissing Bug. This one's already out, I just haven't gotten to it, but I think I'm going to read it right after Columbine and then read Federico. But this one I wanted to read because I'm really into medical nonfiction and anything that has to do with science. I don't know why, because I'm not that good at grasping science stuff, but for some reason when it comes to like diseases or anything like medical, I seem to grasp it. I don't know. But this is a true story of a family, an insect, and a nation's neglect of a deadly disease. This talks about Chagas, which is the kissing bug disease, and the author talks about her own experiences with it. I think it is her aunt. Yeah, her aunt got really ill from eating an apple, and then it goes from there. But really excited for this one. This is one that I accepted because I had read her other book, Dear Child, and enjoyed that one. That book is similar to Room, I feel like. If you like Room, you'll like Dear Child, but this is her newest book that's coming out in October, and it's called Sleepless. So this one is about a girl who I guess is convicted of a crime when she was a child, and then she spends some time in jail. She gets out, and when she gets out of jail, she just has this one friend named Laura, and Laura tells her she's killed someone. She says she's afraid to tell her husband, and she needs Nadja's help to hide the evidence. So excited for this one. And then we have Don't Forget Us Here, and this is also a memoir. If you can't tell, I love memoir and I love nonfiction. I think I own almost more nonfiction at this point than fiction, but this is another one I'm really excited for. This one comes out in August. This is a memoir about an innocent man detained in Guantanamo, and he is there for 14 years until he gets out. So I'm really interested in reading this one, and like I said, this one comes out in August. And then I had received an ARC of Miseducated, and now I received a finished copy, so I think I might do a giveaway. I think I had talked about the ARC before in a video, but I don't remember. So this says, an inspiring memoir of one man's transformation from a delinquent drug dealing dropout to an award-winning Harvard educator through literature and debate, all by the age of 27. So like I said, this is his memoir, so he's going to talk about his life and how he got there. I haven't read this yet. It comes out June 15th, so I kind of want to read it before it comes out, but I don't know if I will. And then I got Still Alive by Forrest Galante, and this is a wildlife of rediscovery. I think in this book he's going to talk about different species going extinct and how to keep them alive, I believe. I think he's also going to talk about his life. So this says it's a part memoir and part biological adventure. So I'm really excited for this because I really love animals and nonfiction, so this is perfect. So I think that's it. I had a lot to say. If you've read any of these books, let me know, or let me know what you're interested in. If you saw anything that you were interested in, or if you've read Columbine, let me know, because I'm interested to hear people's thoughts on that book. And like I said, don't forget to follow me on Instagram and Goodreads, because those are 2 platforms that I post on the most, and you'll see the most updates from me on there. Still have a lot of videos to edit and a lot to upload, but a lot's been going on, so you will see all those soon. Thanks for sticking with me. For those of you who still watch, yeah, I will see you all later. Bye.